Welcome to H20 Fm, the Central Coast's most popular live broadcasting radio station. Introducing your host, Quinn Richardson.
Thank you. Welcome back to H20 FM. Today we will be taking to the streets to see what people think about the water crisis. Do you know what the water crisis is?
No, I don't know what the water crisis is.
Oh, I actually haven't heard of it. What, can you tell me?
What water crisis? There is no water crisis.
The water crisis is when kids and adults in other countries are not lucky enough to receive ample amounts of clean water. This is a serious issue as it can kill people and cause many infectious diseases. It is also worth mentioning that most of the countries in the water crisis are third world countries. Some of the countries in the water crisis include Mongolia, India, and Pakistan. Do you know what the causes of the water crisis are?
I guess some causes of the water crisis could be things such as irresponsible management of supplies.
Would it be a little bit of poor education or something like that?
There was a water crisis, so how would I know about the causes?
Some of the causes of the water crisis include the poor infrastructure in other countries due to lack of funds to maintain water supplies. Another cause of the water crisis is the overpowering amounts of pollution in the water caused by the leaks in the water pipes where dirt fills the running water. Can you name any of the effects of the water crisis?
I guess some effects of the water crisis could be, things such as droughts.
The effects of the water crisis? No, I think I really need to know a little bit more about this.
People get dehydrated and they die and they get all sorts of diseases.
There are many effects of the water crisis, and some of these effects include disease. Diseases caused by the pollution of the water can really affect people's lives as they become unhealthy, and that can lead to sickness and worse, death. Many of these diseases can also lead to some deformities that can affect the way people live their lives on a basic routine. An example of one of the many deformities caused by dirty water is the rapid expansion of the tongue that leads to trouble breathing and trouble eating. Poor education. Poor education can be caused by the lack of access to fresh water, leading to a hard time for children to focus and engage in class conversations. Learning can become a real struggle for students to focus on, and this will lead to a less entitled future. Do you know what is being done to stop the water crisis?
I actually have no idea what's being done.
Can you tell me more about it?
The money goes to charity to aid the problem with water in the world.
There are many things being done about the water crisis, but what I find most interesting is the use of lifesaver bottles. Lifesaver bottles can purify water with a 15 nanometer filter. If our world invests in these lifesaver bottles, then maybe we can save millions of lives. Do you know what groups have been involved in fighting the water crisis?
I really don't, but I really would like to.
Know any of the groups? Would you be able to tell me any of them?
No idea which groups are involved.
Groups such as Water.org and Charity Water have been specifically made to fight the water crisis and have done significant things to fundraise money for the people in need of water. Although the groups specifically made to fight the water crisis play the biggest role in the fight for water, there have been tons of companies helping by fundraising and donating money to various charities. Do you know any ways you could help prevent the water crisis?
To give a helping hand to those in need.
Way to donate money or something like that?
The only way we can help is by installing water tanks and looking at making sure we don't use too much water, and then contributing to the charities that do aid the problem with water in the world.
There are so many ways people can fight the water crisis at home or when you're out. You just don't realise it. It's as simple as spreading awareness, taking shorter showers, not wasting water, and buying products that help in the fight for clean water. People just don't realise how big of an issue the water crisis is. So please, next time when you're buying a bottle of water or getting a drink from the tap, just remember that the water you're drinking, everyone should be allowed to drink. Thank you for listening to my interview. By now you shall have all seen our radio station's logo, and I think it's important to address what it means. First of all, as you can see, the tree of life and death in the middle of our logo. On the dead side of the tree, a giraffe is pictured reaching to grab the leaves. This represents the people trying to get any water they can get. The dead side of the tree also is very bare, representing the lack of water. On the living part of the tree, a fish is pictured in water, which resembles the water we take for granted. The tree also blinds us from seeing the struggle of life on the other side of it. Lastly, the broken heart at the top of our logo represents the broken love we have for the people in need. That is what our logo means.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.